Welcome back to Murder with the Missus. I'm Darren.
And I'm Amy. And today we're going to talk about Bryan Steven Lawson.
Don't forget to smash that like button. Check out the description for the links of all of our podcast platforms, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee. Like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to tell your friends. Welcome back, everybody. If you guys are watching this video, I'm in recovery mode, so we kind of pre-recorded all of our videos.
That's why we're in the same shirts.
That's why we're in the same outfits for the past month.
Right. We do have other clothes.
Yeah.
Just to let you know.
But anyway.
All right. Now, intimate partner violence is something we talk about a lot in true crime cases. Today is one of those days. If most people are told that a heterosexual couple is experiencing a domestic violence situation, they immediately think the male is the aggressor. So why is that? Many reasons, actually. One fact is that most reported statistics show that 1 in 4 women experience intimate partner violence, almost twice the reports of men. The stereotype with men is that they should be able to take it, that they can't be hurt near as bad as when a man attacks a woman, and they are big and strong. And that's not always the case. 1 in 7 men experience physical violence from a partner, according to the CDC.
Well, those stats are wild.
Doing?
Sorry.
He's like messing with something in his hand.
I am. Started thinking.
He is thinking.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
Wild.
Just know that more often than not, if the abuser gets away with it the first time, regardless of sex, it can seem like an open invitation to keep doing it. Also, more often than not, the violence will escalate. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Now let's talk about the case. We're talking about the relationship between Bryan, who was born July 5th of 1983, and Beth, who went by Chandra. She was born November 16th of 1976, and both were in Tennessee. Chandra had graduated from Christian Life Academy and went to East Tennessee State University, then to Lincoln Memorial University. She had a son, Liam, from a previous relationship when she met Bryan, but him and Liam got along pretty well. Chandra was in the Tennessee Army National Guard from 2006 to 2012. Bryan says that she was set for a tour in Iraq, but while in training for that, she broke her neck in training. He would go on to say that because of the injury, she was being prescribed hundreds of pain meds a month.
So she got addicted.
A tale as old as time.
Yep.
But she wasn't the only one with addiction issues. Her husband, Bryan, also had an addiction to pills. He had been born with severe clubfoot, and he says his left foot was almost turned completely around when he was born. So from 6 months old to 17 years old, he had a lot of surgeries and saw a lot of doctors. But at 17, they had exhausted all options. He had 2 choices, amputation or pain management. He chose to keep the foot, but got an addiction in the process. He and Chandra were actually shooting up at this point.
Damn.
Bryan would end up going to rehab, and while he was there, Chandra told him that she was pregnant. Their son, Braden, was born in May of 2014, and Bryan decided that he was not going back to the addiction, saying that Braden saved his life. Chandra was not as lucky. And this brings us to January 27th of 2017. They were all living in an apartment together, 40-year-old Chandra, 35-year-old Bryan, now 17-year-old Liam, and 2-year-old Braden. About 18 months before this, Bryan says that he saw a woman who had broken into an apartment previously in their area. Now, since she was back around there, he decided to get surveillance cameras for their apartment. He says Chandra picked them out, bought them, and he had them installed. So there's cameras.
So were they working at the time?
Oh, yeah, they were. But they didn't catch a robbery. We've seen footage from the surveillance. I've seen footage from the surveillance in the living room and from a camera that they had in their bedroom. I'm not sure how many they had or even if they had any more. So I'll describe to you what these 2 showed. That morning, Liam was already gone to school, so he wasn't home when this all went down. Just after 8:30 a.m., Bryan called 911 saying, "I need an ambulance. They need to hurry. My wife's dying. I shot her with a pistol. Oh my God. She was beating on me this morning. I've got it on videotape. I didn't want to kill her, but I was afraid she was going to hurt me. She had a baseball bat. She was trying to hit me with it. Now, the operator asked him where he shot her at, and he says he doesn't know. He just fired. He says, "Oh God, I've killed her. I can't take it no more." Chandra would not survive, and Bryan would be arrested. He would get out on a $250,000 bond to await for trial. The authorities did take that camera footage and review it, and they ended up charging Bryan for voluntary manslaughter and reckless endangerment.
So I want to know what was caught on the cameras.
All the things, because I watched them.
Yeah.
At first, the state only released to his defense team a portion of the footage, but I think it was like 45 minutes of footage from that morning. It was what was leading up to and including the shooting.
Okay.
In the bedroom, you see her standing at the foot of the bed. Braden is sleeping on the bed behind her, and she is standing there watching TV. Bryan comes in, and things start to go south. Now, there's no audio on the footage, so you can't hear for yourself what is said. But Bryan says that he told her that they were already behind schedule and that they were running late, and he said that she just snapped. Bryan is about 6'5" tall and weighed about 250 or 260 pounds at the time. Chandra is a petite woman, but she had that substance abuse problem on top of a diagnosis of bipolar disorder, so she could get very violent when she was in a low. So at about 8:07 a.m., you see them in the living room arguing. Bryan is sitting in a recliner with Chandra standing over him and yelling. And I say they were arguing, but Bryan barely said anything and appeared to have a very different demeanor than she did. She was pointing her finger at him, and 2 separate times, she just starts swinging on him. She's hitting him in the head and on his body, like just going wild.
And what does he do?
Well, he just curled his body away from her and stayed sitting in the chair.
So he's not trying to restrain her or get away from her or anything?
No. They argue some more before she goes over to the couch, reaches behind it, and pulls out a bat that looks like it had been back there leaning against the wall.
Okay.
She rears the bat back like in a swinging stance, and then she swings it at him. But it hits the upper side of the back part of the recliner.
Lucky.
Yeah. They grapple over the bat. He's trying to pull it away from her. She twists and pulls until she actually gets it away from him. She's literally holding it in one hand and hitting it with her other hand, like you see menacing people do on movies and TV shows. He said at this point, he's just trying to calm her down. It's around 8:18 a.m., and she hits the floor by his foot several times with the bat. Now, keep in mind that this is his club foot, but he moved it, so she didn't hit it. They keep arguing. The next bit of footage shows them about 10 minutes later. She's now in a sweater, and he has a beanie on, so some type of progress to leave for the day has been made, but they're still arguing. He is back in the recliner, and she is standing over him, yelling. Footage from the bedroom showed Braden laying in bed, covering his ears with his hands, so that's how I know she was yelling pretty loud. She then hauls off and tries to kick him, but ends up hitting the side of the recliner again, like she was trying to go high. She leans over into his face after that, and according to Bryan, she says, "I haven't decided for sure how you're going to die, but you're going to."
Damn.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just leave?
The front door is right there. They're in an apartment, so the front door is literally on the other side of the camera footage. But he said Braden was in that back bedroom, and that she probably would have escalated even more if he tried to take him, and he wasn't about to leave him there with her. So he was just trying to de-escalate the situation. She had allegedly been telling him when she had the bat that she was going to bash his brains in, that she wanted his mom to have to clean his brains up. She tells him that after she kills him, she's going to take Braden into the bathroom, get in the bathtub, and cut their arteries with a scalpel.
Wow.
At one point, when she had the bat, she pointed it to the door. And he said that she was saying that no matter who came through that door, everybody was dying. He says he asked her why she couldn't just leave Braden alone. And she said that Braden was put on this earth to pay her back for everything she's done. Bryan had said that he had tried to leave during a previous argument and she had put a gun in her mouth, so he stayed. So he's like kind of scared to go, kind of scared to stay. So he's in that like little pocket where we see a lot of domestic violence.
Yeah.
People stay. But I think we'll take a break right here to hear from today's sponsor.
Is your washer and dryer pushing your buttons instead of the other way around? Make a clean getaway before you spin out of control.
For sheets and giggles, go ahead and call My Laundry Solutions today at 800-535-4411 if you live in an apartment. We know you're pressed for time, so you can also tumble on over to MyLaundrySolutions.com, which is available 24/7. They are a wonderful company to do business with.
No credit check, free installations, all for about $1 a day.
That's sensational.
Give them a call. You won't be disappointed.
Give them a shout today.
You won't be disappointed.
Sensational.
Why are we both making fun of each other? So on this day, it's about 8:31. You see her bring Braden into the living room. She's got him on something tall like a counter or a table, and she's set him on top of it and she's getting him ready. You see her at the bottom of the camera frame, and at the top of the frame, at the same time, you see Bryan reach behind the couch. But he didn't grab that bat. He gets a .38 pistol and puts it in his jacket pocket. So I guess they just keep all their weapons behind the couch.
Seems pretty safe.
I mean, why not?
Yeah.
At least they're handy.
Yeah.
Bryan sits back down in the recliner while Chandra is beside him yelling. She is to the side of the chair and Braden is next to them, so he's more in front of the chair, but they're all like right there. Then Chandra hits Bryan again. This time, Bryan shoots 3 shots at her without taking the gun out of his pocket. She falls back onto the floor. Braden is next to her when the shooting happens, so Bryan jumps out of the chair, keeping the gun on Chandra while she's writhing on the floor. He uses his other arm to pick Braden up and put him on his hip, and then he immediately grabs a phone and calls 911. The operator tells him to put the gun down and go outside. Like,
so all this in front of the baby.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And as they're walking out the door, Braden is looking down at Chandra, who is now no longer moving. It's fucking tragic. Bryan later says, if there was another option, I didn't know it. I had to shoot my wife to save my son. But what I thought I did to save everything ended up being what made me lose everything. He said that there was no class for men telling them that if their spouse is hitting you, this is what you do. And he's accurate on that.
Yeah, no fact. That's facts.
Yeah. After his arrest, there was a no contact order issued, so he couldn't have any contact with Braden. So that's what he's talking about. He lost everything.
That's horse shit.
He couldn't talk to him or see him until the outcome of the trial.
Yeah, that's probably just so he can't say, tell him this.
Right. Plus, they don't know. I mean, if he did it in cold blood or for whatever reasons, he's a dangerous person that doesn't need to be around children.
Yeah.
Like, if they found that this was self-defense, all would be okay. But if ifs were fists, we'd all be drunk. I also need to mention that about 5 hours after the shooting, a friend of Bryan and Chandra's is called to the police station, or he made a call to the police station, and then he showed up in person with some information from way out in left field. He said Braden was his son. So Bryan's lawyers had a DNA test done. And Maury says, Bryan, you are not the father.
No.
Yeah. Remember that he found out that Chandra was pregnant while he was in rehab.
Yeah, I kind of wondered that, you know.
Yeah. It seems she didn't wait too long after he left, or maybe he hadn't even left yet. And she was out doing the most.
Yeah.
But while he couldn't have contact with Braden, that was not the case with Liam, right? Because Liam's older. Bryan had been in Liam's life for roughly 10 years at this point, and he had a big role in it. And Liam kept in communication with him after the shooting. But in their video of their interaction in person, it seemed off to me. I don't know these people from Adam, but Liam seemed like he really didn't want to be there. So there's like a whole episode of this case on a TV show, Accused, Guilty, or Innocent. And that's the video I'm talking about. So they're like doing interviews and stuff with people, and they film where Liam comes to visit Bryan, And Liam just, I don't know if it's because he's a teenager or because he's on TV or what, but he just seemed very, I'm not into this. Liam talked about how it was no good to hold hate for anybody. He did acknowledge that Chandra was violent and addicted to drugs. And he said he forgave Bryan to a degree, but he will always be the man who killed his mother. And those are Liam's words, not mine. He was telling Bryan that he still has to atone for what he did, that justice still has to be served.
Sounds like sounds like a kid trying to be, his best in a shitty situation.
Right. So he's like, I get it, right? Mom was not the greatest, but you still killed her, so.
I mean,
yeah.
You seen the video.
He's pretty torn up.
You seen the surveillance video.
I did.
So.
I did.
Was it in self-defense?
It appears self-defense. She was physically hitting him when he shot her. But the question is, could she have caused deadly harm?
With a bat?
She didn't have a bat at the time he shot her.
She seemed pretty much out to get him.
She was on a tear.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much. Now, remember that I said earlier that the state took that camera footage and they only gave Bryan and his lawyer roughly 45 minutes of that footage from the morning. Well, Bryan wanted all that footage for his defense. He was claiming that she was shooting up about 3 times a day at this point, and he knew that the footage would show that. Eventually, the state sent over the footage on a hard drive. Or did they? They didn't, because the hard drive they sent over didn't have anything on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I hate when they do that. It's a stall tactic or whatever, because they were already so close to trial. And then when they finally give them the evidence, it's not really evidence. And so they have to ask for it again and go through it's a thing. But they finally get it. And this is like for the days leading up to the shooting. You can see Chandra go into the bedroom and you see her straighten up the blankets on the bed while she's kind of glancing back and forth at the TV. But she's only using one hand to straighten up the blankets because the other hand is holding a syringe. She sits on the bed, pulls her legs up, and while she's sitting on top of Braden's baby blanket, I might add, she injects the syringe into her leg.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is what Bryan knew would be on the footage. He knew this would help prove that she suffered from addiction. This, coupled with the BPD, which only made her anger worse, would show that he was a victim, that this was self-defense. Her mental health file was reviewed by a forensic pathologist who said that when manic, she did abuse Bryan. And she was out of dope that day. So belief is that she was definitely in a low. So.
Yeah, but it sounds like, the state doesn't see it as self-defense.
Right. They don't. He didn't hit her back in the footage. She's the one who got the bat. He says she was threatening to hurt him and Braden, but there's still some issues. At the time of the shooting, she was unarmed. Like I said, she was hitting him with her hand. She had her purse over her shoulder, looking like she was literally about to walk out the door and leave the house. She hit him with her hand right before the shooting, and in Tennessee, deadly force for self-defense can only be used to prevent death or serious bodily harm. So some question if her hitting him with her hand could have caused death or serious bodily harm. Also in the camera footage from that morning, Bryan allegedly walked outside, then came back in before he got the gun, showing he could have left, but didn't. He said on the 911 call that this was all caught on camera, indicating that that was what was on his mind. Like, I already have proof that I'm clear, that I'm innocent. So people thought that was kind of weird. So, he said he was trying to calm her down, but this is kind of making them think maybe he wasn't trying to calm her down because we can't hear what he's saying. They're thinking that maybe he was instigating the fight and that he kept goading at her, pushing at her so that she would keep escalating so that he could shoot her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So he was initially charged with first-degree murder. That's what they first charged him with, even after seeing the video. But they eventually offered him a plea deal. Plead guilty to manslaughter and reckless endangerment and he would get 15 years for the manslaughter and 1 year for the endangerment. And then they would let him serve them concurrently. So they wouldn't be stacked up, they'd be served together. Typically, you're not eligible in Tennessee for parole until you serve 30% of your time, but as part of the plea deal, he would be eligible after only 20% of his time. So
that's what, like 3 years?
Yeah. So they're like, if you plead guilty to this, you'll just get 3 years. But that's to be eligible. There's no guarantee he would actually get it. And if he doesn't take the deal, it's life without parole.
So he took the deal.
Well, his lawyers wanted him to go to trial. And I would like to think that that's because they believed they could win the case. But we've talked about it before. Everyone knows that if you go to trial, they can charge more. So I always question when a lawyer's like, yeah, we could totally go to trial if they're just in it for the money. Yeah. If they are private attorneys and not public defenders, of course. I'm not sure what his were. But regardless, yes, he took the deal. He went to prison in January of 2019. He says he was pretty much immediately extorted by one of the gangs in the prison. He was beaten so badly he was in bed for days after he got there, and then subject to regular beatings. He had his stuff stolen from him all the time. He was in one of the toughest prisons in Tennessee. Max. I looked him up, and his last inmate photo was dated April 16th of 2024, and his status shows parole. What little you can see online says that he is out on parole as well, but I have no date to know exactly sure when he got out, to know when that happened. But it seems like he may have actually served 5 years, from what I can gather.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Liam did come out later saying that he doesn't believe that Chandra would have ever hurt Braden and that Bryan is a murderer. So he flipped. I knew he would because of his demeanor. Braden was still going between Bryan's mom and Chandra's mom for visitation. They said that when Braden gets older, if he wants to see Bryan, they will be okay with that. But for right now, no. It's going to have to be his choice. So they're waiting for him to get older. So even now, he still doesn't get to see him.
Yeah.
But that's all we have on this one. What do you think? Do you think he should have pled guilty or went to trial and fought it out?
I don't know. I mean, that's a toss up.
That's a hard one.
Because I think it was self-defense, but then there's no audio.
You can't tell what they're saying.
So you can't tell if he's agging her on or anything like that either.
Right.
I mean, he could have been covering himself and just sitting there like just fucking talking shit to her.
Right. Or just keeping his face neutral while he's saying, shit to her.
But he is right that there is no classes for what to do when women are beating on you.
Well, here's what you have to ask yourself. If this was a video you watched that was reversed and it was a man treating a woman like that and the woman shot him, would you be like...
She'd automatically be self-defense.
Self-defense.
I mean...
Exactly. This is those
That's what I'm saying. Roles. That's why I was like, I'd like to believe it's self-defense. I mean, I really do. But... Yeah. And they should have seen that. I mean, they should have seen it like that. But that's where it's like different,
Yeah. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah. When tables are turned, it looks the other way.
100%.
So.
100%. All right. Do you like us? If the answer is yes, then tell us by clicking the like button. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe too.
Yeah. And while you're at it, tell your friends.
Tell them too.
Because they deserve to see us too.
They really do. We're a delight.
All right. Well, until next time, guys, we'll see you.
Bye.